Okay, I'll have a think about it.
Most novice salespeople have no idea how to handle that response. Most just give up and let the customer hang up. Instead of giving up, we need to keep the customer talking. You could try Tom Hopkins' famous approach.
I understand you want to consider your options. It's an important decision. Just so I'm clear, is it the A?
No.
Is it the B?
No.
Jenny, is it the money?
Yes.
So you need to see more value.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, the sticking point is the money. This short exchange allows you to get the conversation going again by reselling the value proposition. Whatever you do, don't be too eager to close the conversation. Often the customer just hasn't heard what they need to hear and further discussion is required. To a large extent, the words you use on the phone will determine your success. Using the wrong ones will seriously hamper your efforts. Here are a few examples.
Hi, how are you today?
This lazy opening phrase screams telemarketer and an amateur one at best. So replace that with something that engages the prospect. The important thing here is it won't be the same for every caller. You'll have to tailor something for each cold call.
I'm just calling to...
The word just diminishes whatever you say next, so ditch just straight away.
Do you have a moment to speak?
Whilst this might seem polite, it does provide the prospect with an easy out.
Oh, I'm a bit busy at the moment. Can you call me next week?
So replace it with something like,
I realise you're busy, so I'll keep this brief.
paying close attention to what words and phrases come out of your mouth will result in more sales.
It costs too much.
How often has a caller said that to you? The good thing is, your prospect has just identified the primary stumbling block. But before you defend the price, make sure it's the only thing blocking the sale.
So if you can see real value in this deal, is there anything else stopping you from proceeding?
Once your certain price is the only issue, you have a few options up your sleeve. You could highlight the risks or concessions involved with choosing a cheaper option. You might focus on the benefits that come with paying a little more. Or you could ask them what price they'd feel comfortable with and provide a solution in that range. The price objection is a common one, so make sure you have a couple of well-practiced responses in mind. Every face-to-face service encounter should start with eye contact and a smile. It's not negotiable. The right amount of eye contact plays a key role in rapport building, as it demonstrates interest, shows you're giving the customer your full attention, and helps build a level of comfort. Your smile, well, that's contagious. The customer will almost always return a smile, providing you with a great start to each customer service interaction. Great service is all about relationships, and in a retail environment, it's hard to form a relationship with someone when you have a barrier between you, like the service counter. Of course, for many, being behind the counter is unavoidable while processing payment, but if it's physically possible to step out from behind the counter and present the customer with their purchases after you've processed their payment, do it. It makes a world of difference. Ever arrived home with a new purchase only to discover that it needs a vital extra? Perhaps a toy without a battery, a camera without a memory card. It's a salesperson's duty to make sure the customer has everything they need to have that product operational straight away. It's not about selling more, it's about making sure the customer is not inconvenienced. A switched-on salesperson will be aware of what extras are required for all products or services that they're providing and will suggest these add-ons or accessories at the time of purchase. Think about what you sell. What add-ons should you be suggesting? Body language is a vital tool in your presentation arsenal. Everyone you are speaking to will be focused on you, not just your words, but you as a whole, which means they are paying attention and responding to your body language as well as your words. If you want to engage your audience, your body language is a fantastic tool for this. Don't stand behind a podium. Come out in front of it. This tells your audience that you want to engage with them and removes a barrier that was placed between you. Stand up straight. People love confidence, so display your confidence with a strong, bold stance. You want your audience to remain engaged with you, so move around. As you move, their eyes and attention will follow you. If you stand still like a statue, their attention will wander. Use your hands, but not just your hands. Use your arms as well. Emphasize points with forceful gestures. This will reinforce your passion and sincerity. If you're engaged and passionate, your audience will reciprocate. Smile. People respond to the warmth of a smile. It makes them believe a person likes them, and this makes them more open to being convinced about your arguments. After all, people instinctively believe people they like. Above all, make eye contact. Get your head out of your notes and look at your audience. Nothing forms a better connection than making eye contact. Whether you're giving a presentation to a group of people or simply presenting a product to a single customer, it's important that you are dressed appropriately. You want your audience's focus to be on your message, not distracted by poor dress standards. If you're not dressed well, then you will not appear credible to your audience. This means your clothes must be clean and ironed, shirts tucked in, and shoes polished, not scuffed and worn. This rule applies to casual dress just as it does if you're wearing formal business attire. You want to appear confident, successful, and in control. Even the most successful casual dressers ensure their clothes are clean, ironed, and appropriate. Always be aware that your audience will have an expectation of how you will be dressed. This will change depending on the circumstances, and it may be to your advantage not to comply with this expectation. But be sure you have thought through the implications of this and have chosen your clothing after careful consideration. This applies to accessories as well. If you need to have notes with you, consider what you're carrying them in. A tatty folder or a plastic bag doesn't scream, "I'm successful, trust me." Rather, it sends a completely different message, perhaps indicating a lack of success and possibly sending your audience a subliminal signal to doubt your credibility. Check your presentation now. Are you suitably attired to impress a customer or your CEO? If not, make plans to remedy the situation tomorrow. One of the quickest ways to connect with a customer is to use their name. If your customer tells you their name, make sure you repeat it straight away. Saying the name out loud ingrains it in your subconscious. Then look for a couple of opportunities to work their name into the conversation over the ensuing few minutes, taking care not to overuse it. If someone has an unusual name, or you perhaps weren't able to understand it when the customer introduced themselves,
Hi, it's Flexible.
ask them to repeat it.
Oh, I missed your name. Can you repeat it for me, please?
Flexible.
If you still can't understand it, ask them to spell it for you, as having them repeat it a third time may frustrate or anger the customer. Oh, and if having noted their name you later forget it, you might be able to discreetly ask a third party.
I've forgotten your mother's name.
It's Sarah.
If you can't remember their name and there's no third party to ask, simply be honest with the customer.
Apologies. I've forgotten your name.
Of course, if the customer hasn't told you their name, some simple detective work on your part might reveal it. Perhaps it's written on a ticket, on a luggage tag, or their credit card. There are a myriad of places you might find this valuable piece of information. One thing's for certain, you'll have a better chance of discovering their name if you're alert and making an active effort rather than operating on autopilot. One universally successful small talk tactic, one that builds rapport, is to find something to compliment your customer on. When face-to-face, you should be looking for things that impact you and using that as fuel to fire your conversation.
That's from the new Ralph Lauren collection, isn't it? It looks good on you.
Or,
Oh, I love your handbag. Is that snakeskin?
it's very hard for a customer to remain cold and aloof when they or something they have is being complimented. In most instances, they'll open up straight away.
It was a gift from my husband. He found it in Rome.
And from that point on, you're rolling. If you notice your customer has left their dog outside your store, you could open with,
Hi, I'm Joan. Would you like me to get your dog a bowl of water?
if they're wearing a logo shirt of a well-known sports team, make a comment about it.
Ah, a fellow Eagles fan, I take it.
By zeroing in on something that's of interest to your customer, you immediately endear yourself to them, and that's a great position from which to start any customer interaction.
Have you ever noticed how small bites of food taste better? Think about it. Party pies, mini quiches, cocktail franks, the list goes on. There's just something about smaller that tastes better. And the same goes for how we learn. Microlearning offers short, bite-sized lessons that have a specific focus on just one topic at a time, making them far easier to digest. If you're in a busy work environment, the last thing you want is your team spending valuable business hours stuck in a boring training course, especially when they only retain a tiny fraction of the information presented. Microlearning allows your team to learn, process, and apply new information in just a few minutes at a time. But people forget information quickly, and that's why repetition of learning is vital. Microlearning makes repetition much more palatable, with learners able to take in short bursts of information at a time. Want your team to learn how to handle difficult customers? Then focus on that alone. Get them to watch short video lessons on the same topic over the course of a week or a month, and watch their understanding, retention, and performance improvement grow. It means less wasted training time, more time putting skills into practice, and more time impressing customers. Decreased downtime and increased productivity? Sounds like a win-win. One of the beauties of microlearning is how it mimics the way modern learners behave in their day-to-day lives. Thanks to smartphones and social media, most employees today are conditioned to watch short videos online. Microlearning is aligned with this pattern of behaviour, making your team far more receptive to this type of training. In fact, 8 out of 10 learners prefer microlearning over traditional methods, with a 50% increase in engagement in shorter training compared to longer courses. Unlike traditional training courses that are bulked up for the sake of taking up valuable time, microlearning is training that's focused on the outcome. Microlearning keeps things short, sweet, and to the point, so you'll have plenty of room for dessert.